Isn't travelling painful enough without having to watch Parliament while you're waiting for your plane? Just met a fellow passenger who's also unimpressed by the fact that the gates aren't allocated when they get the boarding passes. So not the only one that boat. As you can see, it's quite popular down here. A lot of people waiting to board. That's a Launceston flight, I think, and this is the Cairns people. Very happy that I'm finally going back home. And it looks as though this flight might actually be on time, which would be miraculous. But no, I had a nice chat with that lady. She was checking up with her kids. She's flying into Maroochydore and has a 4-hour drive down south to Hervey Bay. So, and then she's got to work at 8 AM in the morning. God, I mean, some people have it tough. So I can't complain. So hopefully things will keep going smooth. This is pretty good. We might, as I say, make it on time. Looking good so far. Ladies and gentlemen, have your attention. I was told I had to stop shooting footage on the tarmac. It was interesting because it looked like a nice day from one angle. It was looking right around the opposite way. Some grey clouds, typical Melbourne. I didn't score a window seat this time. I got an aisle seat, which is very unusual. I mean, I must have had about 8 window seats in a row from Jetstar randomly, but this time no. Whether it's because I did the boarding pass online, who knows. Anyway, I had a great chat with Chris, who used to do the renovations of my place in South Melbourne. It was really nice. I had some, can't remember what the name of the brew was, but it was a dark beer. It was about $10 a pot. It wasn't bad. I tried to shout him, but he shouted me back, so I made that impossible. He's a very generous guy. And he's looking good, and he's looking a lot healthier, and he told me no one's going to appeal the decision for his pension to be backdated, so that's good news, so he's quite relaxed. He's just got a crook dog he has to nurse through until they finally cark it, and then he'll be able to travel, hopefully. But no, we had a really nice chat, it was good. So we'll do that again when Dave's back in town in a couple of months when I return. Yeah, it's all good so far. I had a chat to a woman that was going to Maroochydore to catch up with her kids in Hervey Bay, which is a fair way from there, 4-hour drive. I gave her the wrong bloody gate number. I thought it was 3 hours. I thought mine was 49 and hers was 46, but mine was 46 and hers happened to be 43, so I've got a brain wobble there. Blame it on the dark ale. So, yeah, it's still taking a while for this plane to fill. It may not be a full flight, who knows? Might be able to actually get myself back window seat anyway. Time will tell. So far, so good. Okay, finally made it back to Cairns, waiting at Bay 14 for the Sun Palm bus to show. So, got in about 5 minutes late, 6:15 rather than the 6:10 that was scheduled. We had a bit of traffic in Tullamarine, had to wait for a Qantas jet to take off before us. Yeah, it was surprising around 3 o'clock. I didn't think there'd be that much traffic, but everybody, it looked as though we were going to get off on time. And it wasn't a full plane, and I had the whole aisle to myself, so that was nice. And even though I didn't get the window seat, it didn't matter because I just shuffled across before we took off and got myself a nice view of the outside. So all's good. And got my ticket to get to the city. Just going to now wait until the shuttle bus shows and and hopefully about 20-30 minutes I'll be back home, which would be nice. So yeah, it's nice and warm. Not super hot, but it's certainly pleasantly warm this time of night, which will be a lot warmer than Melbourne. Yeah, Chris actually told me that before his case, the Centrelink case that he had against Centrelink for back pay over his getting a disability pension back paid, before that went through, he owed quite a bit of rent with his landlord, who he knew, who was giving him cheap rent anyway, much lower than market value. But he said that if he hadn't won the case, he wouldn't have to pay the rent. But as it turned out, he did win the case, and he paid him straight away. So that makes Chris feel a bit better too. So now he's paid off his debts, especially because, I suppose, considering he's getting a really good deal as a consequence of it. So he's fairly happy. Yeah, it was nice to have a long chat with him, and I hadn't really caught up with him socially before, well, not without Dave around anyway, so it was an interesting experience, just sort of one-on-one with someone that I only sort of had in a situation where I employed and doing handyman work for me, although we'd had a few chats while he was doing that, so yeah, it was good. And when I got to the airport, we'd only about an hour and a half before the plane took off, and that worked out well. So I didn't have to hang around the airport very long at all. Getting the boarding pass beforehand was a good idea. I'll do that with Tiger flights back to Melbourne if that's the way I go when I do my return trip. Because waiting in a queue is a pain. Although I will have checked luggage there next time, but even with that, it'll still speed things up by having the boarding pass already printed. So see how we go.